so you don't miss out on some vital information about how you can take your mortgages jointly as a siblings, as blood relatives as well. But generally, when it comes to is in a marital relationship, one person's non-Ghanaian, one person's Ghanaian, what does that look like as well as taking a mortgage?
So, if I don't know your definition for non-Ghanaian.
So define a Ghanaian. Define a Ghanaian. Is it heritage, parentage, citizenship?
Yes. So you are a Ghanaian by the definition of the 1992 Constitution.
Okay.
So it can be by marriage, it can be by birth, or I think there's one that says that at least one of your grandparents should be Ghanaian. Okay. So once you are married, Ghanaian, non-Ghanaian, the two of you can get access to a mortgage. Great. We've actually done quite a number.
Okay.
Recently there were some black Americans who came to Ghana. Most of them are married to Ghanaians, so they have access to. And the
deposit requirement is the same, because I know some banks say that there's a higher deposit requirement if they are non-Ghanaians versus Ghanaians.
Well, if you are a non-Ghanaian, right, non-Ghanaian and you are alone, the deposit requirement is different.
How much would that be?
So we make you put down a lot more. Maybe up to 50%, because you need to be committed to it. But if you are Ghanaian by the definition, then the deposit requirement stays the same.
Okay. Okay, understood. I think we are back online. So those of you that experienced a short breakage in the challenge, we should be back online now. So please give us a thumbs up if you're back with us, so you could be participating in the discussion. Do give us a thumbs up. We want to make sure that you're here. You can hear us loud and clear. And you can also provide great to see the thumbs up. Great to see that you are engaged and you're with us as well. So just back on the payment plan options as well. So we've understood a lot about the mortgages and really around how people can buy it, paying over that duration of time. Say, for example, somebody who initially wanted to go over a payment plan, could they then later switch to a mortgage?
That's correct.
Okay.
So, like I mentioned earlier on, we have a very flexible terms of engagement. Even in instances where customers want to switch from one product to the other.
Sure.
So you have engaged Lakeside, you've chosen a product, you are making your repayment, you get to a point where you want to go in with a mortgage, and which we have done with Republic Bank.
Sure.
And that's 40%. You feel like where you've got into, you will need an assistance with the mortgage option. That flexibility. It even gives us the opportunity to prepare all your D documents.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And one of the things that we always encourage is that make sure you pay safely. So once you pay safely, you know the developer's account is verified, you know your payment is going through the right account, you've made that deposit, you made that payment, and then the time has come for you to be able to now, you say, okay, I want to now switch to top up with the mortgage. That option is there, where you go in with Republic Bank, make some arrangement, and then we facilitate all the documentations, and then you take it from the mortgage.
Yeah.
With product change, it's the same thing. So you started with a 2-bedroom, you realize that, no, hey, I've gotten some due, and I think now I can upgrade. So that flexibility is there. Since we have you in our system, all we'll do is changing of product unit and product type.
Okay.
We'll upgrade all your documentations. We'll upgrade your account, let you do a new allocation so that you can now see which one you are going in for.
Okay.
And then the previous one, which you were already signed on, can go back to the market. Subject on the conditions that it is not occupied.
Right, fine. Fine.
Subject on the conditions that it is not occupied. So we take it back.
I'll come to you shortly, Mr. Dan, but in terms of so many homes, there's a community feel. There are costs associated when it comes to, you're buying a property, but it would be great to know what additional costs, if somebody's thinking about budgeting, so both with mortgages but also payment plan, what are the additional things that somebody needs to budget for?
And then every developer and its associated fees after purchasing the property. The primary cost we all know will be the cost of the house.
Sure.
Say whatever amount it is. In the pre-sales between the developer and the customer, you will need to outline all your pre-sales, the cost involved, the fees associated. Electricity is inclusive. You make sure that you have these things in place. Now, there are some other governmental organizations, services we may not be able to supply for you immediately, like water and other facilities as as well. Now, every property in Ghana by the law is required to pay a ground rent. And ground rent are statutory fees that goes to stool lands in the Lands Commission in Ghana, because once you purchase a land, sometimes people hear land, they say ground rent and say what it is about. They feel like, oh,
you're taking additional
only
money.
Lakeside that is paying for ground
everyone.
rent. And you know, once a landed property is purchased and it's a stool land, you're liable to pay a ground rent. Family land, because we have various forms of interest in land, and that is like it goes to the state. It doesn't come to Lakeside, it goes to the state. So some of those fees with us is 200 Ghana cedis for the entire year, because ground rent payments are not huge sums and other things that you may pay whilst you are occupying the property. There are other associated fees that does not come to Lakeside. For example, say property tax and the property rates, which is being collected by the municipality. But because we are a well-organized institution and our layout and our settings is very defined, it makes it easy and add locality which they operate from. So we have the Adenta municipality, we have the Lankwantanai. So once you know all these things, it is part of the property you're buying. It's not just about buying a property and then you go and sleep. You do not necessarily have to be a salaried worker you may want to look out for. But primarily for Lakeside, the only fees you pay after the property is purchased is ground rent.
Okay, no service charges or?
Currently no service charges.
Okay.
But we have developed a model because, you know, our community is huge. 3,000 acres of land is a huge development. So we've come out with a model where we're breaking them down into clusters.
I see.
So now breaking them into clusters, you have one cluster of about 20 homes, you have another cluster.
And you guys take care of yourselves?
Yes, the estate office will now put them together, let you know how much it's going to cost to do all the maintenances, the common area services and all that. It makes it easier when you are managing in smaller models. But it is difficult when you are managing in larger models. So in our current development at Lakeside Hills, we are doing more of clusters of various house types.
It makes sense. Amazing. So for somebody who has purchased a property through mortgage, we understand it from a payment plan perspective, but from a mortgage perspective, I'm assuming there are additional things and requirements like insurances, mortgage facility fees, evaluation fees. Maybe just elaborate a bit more on some of the additional things that people have to consider when it comes to purchasing with a mortgage.
So before we even start processing the mortgage, we need to understand the value of the property. And we do that for 3 reasons. One, to understand how it matches with the pricing, the selling price for which Lakeside has given you. All right. So most of the time, the selling price is lower than the valuation. Values are more current market going rate. But we need to understand that you are not buying something that is overpriced.
What about so what's the threshold? So if you saw a value, is there a kind of like a 20% threshold that the valuation report would need to be within?
No, so it could even be at par.
Okay.
It could even be at par. We just want to establish that you are not buying a house more than what it is worth. That's one. And then secondly, we need to understand how much we are insuring the property for. So usually the valuation expert will give you what we call the reinstatement value of the property, and that is what we do the insurance on.
For people that don't understand what reinstatement value is, so in the event that there's a fire or something, they need to rebuild it from the ground up, how much it will cost to reinstate the property.
Exactly. Then the third aspect is that the valuer usually will give us more information about the environment. Is it waterlogged? Is it on a hill? If it rains, what happens to the area? Does it have running drainage system? Does it have water? Is it a high demand area? Is it a middle, low demand area and all that? So it gives us perspective of the property you are buying. So obviously once those experts have done that work for you, they will charge you some fees. But it's very minimal compared to the loan that you are coming with. Then the second thing is you mentioned the processing and facility fees, but we want to ensure that we are getting you the approval before we even come to the fees, but we make it known to you, and it varies. But what I want to touch on mainly is that when we grant the mortgage, remember that Lakeside has registered their interest in the land. When you buy a property from Lakeside or any vendor, the vendor now transfers their interest in that portion to you. Now, most of the time, people just hold those documents as ownership, right? Forgetting that there is an authority that you have to go and register now your interest, right? Taking out
the other person's
Lakeside's interest so that it becomes yours.
Yes.
But if you continue to hold just that document, what it means is that legally, that document at the land authority section, the land administration, it is still in the name of Lakeside. Now, when you have to do that, you will need to pay some taxes to the government. So we have the stamp duty on title, and then we have the stamp duty on the mortgage. Now, the stamp duty on title is paid to government. They do an assessment and everything, just in preparation to register the land in your name. It is after that that the bank now registers its interest in that property. So we have granted Isaac a mortgage loan. The land or the document should be in the name of Isaac before the bank can register its interest. So we take care of that aspect of the whole registration. You just have to pay the required taxes to government. And then you pay for the registration as well. The last thing about mortgages is that we insure life. Because, you know, in this setting, we don't want a situation, something happens, permanent disability, or somebody even dies, and you now have to fall on the family. Remember that in Ghana, they say family doesn't like liability. They like the assets. So we don't want a situation, something unfortunate happens, we are chasing after your family, we're chasing after your children to make payments before they can have access to the property. So insurance takes care of that. And then you mentioned fire. So fire, flood, anything that happens to the property, you can claim insurance. So we have hazard insurance to cover the property. And it's also so because for us, we don't wait for you to finish paying the house before you can have use for the house. Once we pay from day one, you can have access to using the house. So these are the few fees that you have to pay.
Percentage-wise, so somebody who's budgeting, percentage-wise, can you offer a range of approximately over and above the property price? How much should they budget for some of these additional fees?
Well, I would say safely do about 8 to 9%.
Sure.
You should be fine.
Okay.
It may not be up to, because sometimes it depends on the value of the property. For example, if you are paying, say, stamp duty on title, it depends on the value of the OP market value, because it's 1% of the OP market.
Absolutely.
So it could be that you are taking a loan of $80,000, but the property itself is valued at $300,000. And so that is what you will pay your
value is an LTV. Can you just elaborate on that?
Okay. So loan to value is basically your loan expressed as a proportion of the value of the property. All right. So if we say loan to value of 80%, what it means is that the bank has only granted you 80% of the value of the property. So if the value is say 100,000 USD or 100,000 cedis, and you have 80,000 as a loan, then your loan to the value of the property is 80%. So that's basically it. Most of the time, the loan to value is even less because, like I mentioned, the price that is being sold to you at is usually lower than the value from the valuation. Yes, so that's simple.
Indeed. Please do keep your questions coming through. We see your questions on Teams, on YouTube. I know there was a little bit of a break on YouTube, so please do make sure that you're back with us. Make sure if you haven't subscribed to the channel as well, that you do so. And you subscribe. There is a form to be filled out as well to register your interest as well. And any questions, please feel free to put that onto Teams. And do please follow Lakeside and Republic Bank on all social media platforms, and Lorraine Wright as well. Please do. But just generally, and we will come to a Q&A very, very shortly. But you know, Republic Bank and Lakeside have a very strong relationship. And I know, you know, Republic Bank, you won't just work with any developer.
Yes.
What kind of due diligence or requirements do you have to work with certain developers, or that gives you the confidence that, yes, this is a developer that people could potentially invest with?
Okay. So, you know, when we grant facilities, or when we grant mortgages, we also have an interest.
Absolutely.
In the property that we are financing.
Majority of it could even be yours at any given point.
Exactly.
It's even the majority of the property is for you, for the bank.
Exactly. So we need to understand who the owner of the land is. In Lakeside, the aspect of Lakeside, we don't have any issues when it comes to land documentation, and I give it to them. Once you purchase, within 2 days your document is ready. You're good to go, because they have properly registered their interest in the land. So it becomes very easy to transfer the interest to you. So the first due diligence we want to do is to understand who is the owner of the property. And we don't just do by word of mouth. We go to the land authorities to run a search. We also verify the title. You know, some titles are original than the original. So
there's original and there's original. So.
But we need to verify the title. We need to also understand from the developer's point of view. Is it just a one-off thing you want to do, or you have decided to go into estate development? Because we don't just want to come in as a bank, do just one house, and then we move on. We have a target to meet. And our aim as developers and as a mortgage financing institution like Republic Bank is to bridge the housing gap, ensure that a lot more people have access to homes. So it's not just a one-time thing. If you bring a house from an individual, of course, we will finance it. But as a developer, what is your capacity?
Absolutely.
How many are you able to do? Then the third aspect is the quality of homes. We don't want to have a situation somebody buys the property and within 6 months the person is complaining about cracks and block sewage and all that. So we need to understand your experience in building some of these houses. Because I also want to sleep. You know, for some of the buyers, even though we are financing and they are dealing with the estate, because we are involved, it gives some level of comfort that we've done some assessment, and that is why we have accepted to finance the property.
That was going to be my question about benefits of getting the mortgage,
exactly,
right? You know?
Exactly. So we are doing your registration for you. That's one. We're doing the due diligence, understanding where the land ownership sits. And, you know, sometimes people buy houses and they don't even know they need consent. Okay? You buy from a state land, you actually need consent before the vendor can assign you. So it is not enough for them to just do a transfer deed to you. No, you need a consent. So we would do all those due diligence and let you know that where we have gotten to, this is what you need. And the vendor must provide the consent to assign. If you don't come through Republic Bank, you will not know this. At the point of registration, when the vendor has taken his money and left, that is where you have to go and look for him to get the consent for you. So that's another thing. The third aspect of the due diligence that we do is to ensure that at least you can pay the mortgage. It's very key. Hey, Lauren, you brought Isaac to come for a loan. He's not performing. We don't want to do that. Let's stick to what we have to do so that everybody goes home in peace. In peace,
Absolutely. So you've heard about the benefits of getting a mortgage. We heard also about the benefits of getting a payment plan. What are some of the risks involved, though? For somebody, we want to always, you know, have this, making sure that people understand things so they can make an informed decision in which way they want to go. What are some of the risks involved with getting a mortgage facility?
So, on our side, I would say maybe zero risk. One. However, you risk losing your house.
That is it.
But that is your making. You see, it is not a risk that comes up on the bank side or on the developer side. It is when you have decided that I don't want to pay for my mortgage, then you risk losing your house. In cases where people have run into difficulties, they approach the bank. Can you do a bit of restructuring for me? I have lost my job. All right. This has happened. Take, for instance, COVID. Out of nowhere, COVID happened. People's salaries were slashed into two. Some people lost their jobs. It is no fault of theirs. The bank is able to work with you, and then when you recover, we restore you to the original repayment.
Sure.
But where you have difficulties and you decide that you will not say anything, and you decide that, well, the house is there, go and sell it. Of course, we will sell it.
Sure.
It's very easy to sell a lakeside house if when we repossess, because everybody wants it.
Okay.
Okay, so it's the reason we're also very particular about location.
Okay.
Because in case there's a default. So that's about the risk that I would say is associated. But that is a self-inflicted risk.
Okay.
Aside that, once you go through with all the conditions and you are abiding by what we say you should do, you should be fine. The good thing is that you make payment for your mortgage. Today you only bought one house, right? Lakeside did London apartment as low as $35,000. You can get an apartment, but you already bought from maybe Community 8 from us. We can grant you an equity mortgage in Community 8 whilst your home purchase loan is still running. We can grant you an additional facility, and you invest in the London apartments. But assuming your track record on the home purchase is not correct, you have curtailed that aspect of your borrowing, and that affects you.
Okay. We're getting a lot of questions coming through, so please do feel free to bring your questions. We'll be shortly going to the Q&A. But I'll finally come to yourself, Mr. Isaac, as well. What risks are involved with payment plan options? I'm assuming similar, but please do kindly elaborate.
All right. So, for example, in terms of risks, like Dan said, I think it's a similar thing with the repayment, because once the sale is initiated, repayment structure has been modified to suit you. We've signed on, you started your repayment. I see more or less like a zero risk, because we have now the responsibility of making sure that your property is developed and then handed over to you. So it may be your making. In instances where we schedule a payment, say on the 1st of every month, you need to pay X amount, and then because there are always room for some form of a free time to be able to come back and say that, okay, I could not meet on the 1st, but I can meet on the 5th, I can meet on the 10th. So it has to be with you, because once we hit ground, construction starts, there is a construction timeline that we also need to meet. And once we delay in the project, we may not just be delaying you, but we'll be delaying other customers as well, because it is more effective building together, like building just one standalone house. And therefore, we cannot just build one house for Lawin just because he says he has signed up to Lakeside, and then he expects that the construction will go on. We build on a row. So in order not to affect other customers as well, we do advise that you stick to the plan. So we always want to be sure that what you are giving us, or what terms, so that you don't default, or you don't get to a point where prepayments cannot come in again, and then development will also go on. Development is not going to stop. Development will still go on. And we've had this experience with customers from the US, the UK, and all that. Sometimes they come back to you, can you restructure my payment to go beyond these dates? The good thing with that, we are developing. It's not a development that we finish and then we walk away. We are still developing, and we have huge acres of land yet to develop, like I mentioned earlier on. So the opportunity for you to ride onto the next project is there.
Right.
So you started with UK, maybe it has just kick-started. We've now reached about 90%. You've had few issues with your repayment, and therefore you are almost getting to a default level, where you do not want to now risk and say that I'm going to lose it. So you come back, we restructure, and we can onboard you on, say, Project B.
Right, okay.
Because once Project A finishes, Project B will already be in construction timeline.
Sure.
So that we don't delay you and others as well.
Yes.
Because others will also be holding us responsible. Probably some are even far advanced in terms of repayment. So these are some of the things that are involved with regards to the risk, because we have a responsibility to deliver your property.
Yes.
So the risks like Dan said, it may be your making.
Yes, understood. You're making me feel pressure. Moral of the story, we have to keep up with our payments and communicate and, build that relationship as well, right? I'm going to go to some of the questions that we've received online now as well. And if you do have any more questions, please feel free to drop them in the chat and we will be addressing those. There was a lot of interesting discussions. Before the YouTube broke, there was a question that came up relating to, I guess, mortgage facilities, but also we can address it towards payment plans as well. The person was in Switzerland, so Vigette, dear, bonjour, if you're still online. I wanted to know if they earn in francs, so maybe they work for a company in Switzerland, and they earn in francs. How would the mortgage facility work for them, and then maybe also how would they also make their payments? So who doesn't earn in cedis or USD, what that would look like?
Okay, so we do with almost I would say
every major currency.
So what happens is that we use the international conversion rates to convert it into a USD or convert it into CD, depending on which denomination you want your loan to be in. So there are just two denominations. We have the USD and we have the CD. So if you earn in franc or you earn in pounds or CFA, we are able to convert your earnings into a USD for the purposes of calculating. It is the reason I mentioned that when we are done with the facility, when we are done with the mortgage, and you want to make repayment, just tell your bankers that I want Republic Bank or my account to be credited with 500 US dollars, so that they don't end up transferring the CFA. It gets to Ghana and it is 400 USD. So you need to inform the bank that I need 500 USD in Ghana, and that works for us. So irrespective of the currency, we are good to go once it can be converted.
Indeed. And for somebody paying with installments and repayment options, do they send the money directly to yourselves? Do they use the remittance apps? How can people pay, whether locally or whether internationally?
It can be done through international wire transfer, through other payment platforms, whether it's coming from Chase Bank, Wells Fargo, or the other banks that we know. The good thing with us is that we have all the majority of the trading currencies. We have the Ghana cedi, we have the US dollar, we have the euro, we have the pounds. So we have that leverage to receive all these currencies. So say you are in the UK, you want to pay pounds, we'll give you a pounds equivalent of whatever property you buy. If you're in the UK, you're in Europe, we'll give you the euro equivalent of whatever property you're buying. And this gives you the opportunity to send euro to an euro account, pounds to a pounds account, USD to a USD account, CD to CD account. But for Swiss francs and other francophone countries, like Dan said, you will need to instruct your bank through an international wire transfer that you want X amount of USD to hit this account, to a pounds account, through an euro account or through a CD account. So that flexibility is there. One thing I will say is that ensure and trust the developer you are sending the money to. I always insist on this because we've heard the stories over the years in the industry. In my professional practice over 10 years, we've heard the stories where people wired money and you didn't get. So now we have created a simple one-page template which we give to our customers. Take this document to the bank and tell them that Lakeside gave you this document and they said this is what they should use. Insist that that is what they should use. And once they do that, it comes straight into a bank account. So you don't have any third party coming in, sending money through family, relatives, friends here and there, brokers, agents, directly into our account. So that it gives you that peace of mind. So that you are very certain that this company has received my money. And we've had experiences with a lot of customers that I sent the money and it didn't come and it went somewhere and this and that. It's a whole lot of issues.
Even with the apps. I mean, I've seen some of my clients who have sent money with third-party apps. So not even, and they've even delayed weeks on end. So I do understand and appreciate that submission too. Another question came through around, we were speaking a little bit earlier on about repayments of their mortgage facilities, and somebody asked a question. This is an unknown user. It would be great to know your name and where you are. But the question was, can you pay more than the scheduled repayment amount to reduce the repayment period?
Yes, you can. Where you want to increase your repayment amount, you let the bank know, because it's a system. Everything is programmed. So initial setup would say maybe you are paying 2,000 USD monthly. Now 6 months down the line, you have gotten an additional job, and you think that you can make an additional 1,000 USD. So just inform the bank that you want your repayment increased to 3,000, and obviously the tenor will reduce.
Yes.
Any
Any penalties with paying early?
Oh, I would. You don't necessarily have a penalty, but the maximum that will be charged is 0.25%. And let me put it in perspective. You have a $1 million and you want to pay the $1 million now, you pay $2,500.
Okay.
That's how low it is. Yes.
Okay. And for yourself, Mr. Isaac, if they had a 3-year, 10-year to pay their payment plan and they wanted to reduce that, I'm sure the option there is to.
Yes, the options are there to pay faster, which gives you 0 penalties.
Sure.
And rather puts the responsibility on us.
Yes, to
now
deliver
to
faster.
Also move on a faster pace to be able to. But the good thing is that if a customer wants to pay faster, we do have properties that are nearly completion. So say you sign up on Project A. Project A was going to last 12 months, but Project B were already in existence before you came.
Okay.
So if you then want to pay faster, we would have to check our project sheet, see, okay, Lorraine is almost about closing payment, and then Project B, there is units available we can allocate. So we'll communicate that to you, that Lorraine, you are almost done with your payment. Project B have about 3 units available. Would you like to choose from that one? Sometimes purchasing or paying early does not necessarily mean you want to occupy early.
Right.
So you want to still have that comfortability because one, maybe you are not here. You don't want the property to be handed over to any third party. You want it to be handed over by yourself. So you might as well want to stick to that original repayment and delivery date that you chose. Either than that, you may have the option to choose from the previous construction which has already nearly completion, or you still want to move in, then that gives us the pressure to finish faster for you other than the other properties. But then you do not have any penalties in paying.
And the question is, for first-time buyer earning in Ghana cedis, which option typically offers more flexibility and why? So for the person who is earning in Ghana cedis, should they go with the payment plan or should they go with the mortgage is the question.
Well, if I may have to take it, I'll be skewed towards the mortgage. But I mean, the most important thing is you, the buyer, understanding which one works for you. Typically, the mortgage will give you a longer tenor, and you will have less pressure on your income, and you are able to manage your cash flows. Payment plan or off plan will give you a shorter tenor, and you may are paying, maybe if it's monthly, a higher amount than the mortgage would have given you because it's shorter. So depending on how flexible you want the payment to be, you can go for either of them. But I mean, as you go for both, because whichever way the property gets paid for.
Indeed.
That is right. I'll go for both.
But
the primary question I want to ask Phoebe is that, what is your need? What are your intentions of the property purchase? Because without a need recognition, there is no purchase. So you need to understand your need. Is this something you're looking to do or have in the next 2 years, in the next 3 years, in the next 5 years? You earning in Ghana cedis. Do you have some savings in investment account, in savings account? You can make a deposit and spread the rest. So the question will always come up to you, the purchaser. We will need to engage further to understand your plans, your financial models, what you put back there, how much you can put as a deposit, and how much you can pay monthly. Like Dan said, now you have the tier 3 that can also give you the opportunity, if it's spread 10 years, you can use this as a deposit to purchase a property. So the question will always come back to the final consumer. What is your need and what are your financial models?
Always, what's the purpose? For those of you that are in the room, if you have any questions, please let me know as well. And we'll be certainly addressing those. A question came, I think, not sure if this person was around at the beginning when you had your submissions around the background behind Republic Bank. Okay. But the question has come, is Republic Bank the same as HFC Bank?
Yes. So HFC has grown into Republic Bank. Let me put it that way.
Because we remember the branding, we remember HFC being
yes,
around.
Yes. I mean, I think HFC is still stuck in the minds of people because it's home finance, but it's become bigger than it used to be.
Sure.
So Republic Bank makes it bigger and makes it more visible and more international, so that we can be able to serve
the mortgages. Please do fill out the form. There is a form both on YouTube and on Teams, so feel free to join that, and so that a member of the team can get in touch with you to find out more about the projects. You mentioned project A, B, C, D. Remind us what projects we have that are ongoing right now in Lakeside.
All right, so for Lakeside currently, we have the 3-bedroom Starfish currently going on. It's 18 units project.
Okay.
Homes. We've currently we have only 3 units available.
Wow.
Only 3.
Okay.
Only 3 available. So that option is there. We have Hill Spring Courts, which are all 4-bedroom story, and then 2. These are new projects. So for the Hill Spring Courts, we have 2 sold. We have it's 14 units in total. So we have 12 units available, and then we have the Hillview Villa. Which is a 3-bedroom story. It's also another project in its own confined community. Also 20 units. It's also left with only 4. So the faster you come, exactly, the quicker it will be for you. And then we have the new 2-bed standard, which is going to be about 30 units in total. Yes, because like I mentioned, because it's for upcoming family, young couples, single, it moves faster, and because of that, we also produce it faster. So we have a new project coming on, which is about 30 units. 4 has been already reserved, which is more off-plan what we're talking about right now as well. And some are even hoping to do through mortgage as well. So it's basically fitting with our topic for today. So that project is also currently coming up, and then people now can choose off-plan, choose on paper. We sit down, we understand your financial model, let you know how long the project is going to last for, and then you choose through the options that you want. Yeah, so these are the various projects currently we bringing up.
At the beginning of the conversation today, I did ask a question about people's understanding about mortgages and off-plan. So I want to know by a show of hands and numbers in the chat. So if at the beginning you didn't understand what off-plan was, and now you understand what off-plan is, I want you to put in the chat. If you still don't understand what off-plan is, put a number 1 in the chat. And if you now understand what off-plan is, put a number 5 in the chat. If you're somewhere in between, put a number 3. So I want to see that. You put out whatever platform you're on, whether it's YouTube. In the room, do we understand what off-plan is now? You can put your hands up. If you don't understand what it is, keep it down. Okay, our hands are up, okay? And also for those about mortgages at the beginning, we also asked as well. So if you didn't understand what a mortgage was, I hope you do know now. So if you still don't understand what a mortgage is, put a number 1 in the chat. And if you do now understand what a mortgage is, put a number, and you're confident, put a number 5 in the chat. If you're somewhere in between, put a number 3. Just so we can understand people's progress in terms of today's conversation and how our understanding has been as well. But meanwhile, there was a final question, and please do feel free. I think we've got 1 or 2 minutes left for the conversation today. There are quite a number of you that are online, so please feel free to drop your questions down as we wrap up. But a final question is just about, just general, the ecosystem players. There are developers, but there are also agents and brokers. I myself am a broker as well and support the diaspora of purchasing property in Ghana. And the question was really around support and, general packages to support people that are, or maybe agents or brokers that want to help to bring a buyer to Lakeside. That's the question that has come.
Okay. So when it comes to Lakeside, we are very specific when it comes to choosing a broker and an agent, because in this country, brokers and agents are supposed to be licensed by the new Brokerage Act.
I'm now licensed.
So we want to also do our due diligence and your checks, your experience, your track record the customer base that you've served, those in Ghana, those in the diaspora, and institutions. Sometimes we leave the institutions out because we feel that it's only the individuals, but we look out for those ones as well. So for someone like Lawin who want to be a rep for Lakeside, want to go through all these checks, make sure. But most importantly, due to our track record and our experience in the industry, and I'll give these kudos to my marketing team. They are doing so well, and they've been performing good.
I mean, with the numbers of units that are available for sale now, it makes sense.
I'm giving them the kudos on this platform. So we're more specific on international agencies. So our reach is now expanding beyond Ghana to the globe. So we prefer to do a partnership with international brokers. And when we want to give exclusivity. If you're signing up in the UK, it's in the UK. If you're signing up in the US, in the US. If you're signing up in Europe, it's Europe. So that we don't have conflicts of various brokers that we may have on board. But primarily, that's how we want to deal with them. And then it's on case-by-case basis.
Yes, makes sense.
Yeah.
We've seen the progress in the chat, so we see some 3s and some 5s. So there's been some progress in terms of people's understanding here. But one thing to note is that this is one of 6 series of events that we'll be doing throughout the year. So we hope that we can educate people more to understand more about the market, more about purchasing properties through mortgages, through off-plans, through Lakeside as well, and understanding more so that our buyers feel empowered to be able to buy the right properties for them. So there will be 6-part series through the entire year. So if you're a 3 right now, we hope by the end of the year you'll be a 5, and you'll be the new owner of a property at Lakeside and a new facility at the Republic Bank as well. So before we wrap up, I would like to get your final remarks and submissions. Just generally, I mean, today's conversation has been about off-plan versus mortgages. In terms of Lakeside, just remind us once again the options for purchasing properties and just why somebody should choose Lakeside as the preferred choice to purchase their property here in Ghana.
Thank you. So these are our final words as we end the program. Lakeside is a pioneer real estate company in Ghana. For the past 2 decades in the country, and those in the diaspora will have a decent housing when it comes to owning homes. We're promoting home ownership. We know how renting in this country is, so we're promoting home ownership. And then one of the things that we boast of is our trust and our track record. We do not play on our trust record, and then we do not play on our integrity, because trust is key. There's been instances where customers give us huge sum of money when they haven't even seen the property. Myself personally have sold to people in the diaspora who have not seen the property physically themselves, because they do not want any third party involved in purchasing this property. And when they come, we deliver the property to them, we hand over the keys, and some of them even tear up. Some of them even tear up like, I've been in the diaspora all this while, how come I didn't know of Lakeside, and you know, I spent so much money in this and that, and I've lost so much properties and all that. I remember, I'm not going to mention the name, I remember one customer we handed over to, he didn't come to Ghana to see the property. He didn't send a rep. He dealt directly with Lakeside through the marketing and the sales team. The very first day she came to Ghana for us to hand over the property. And the good thing is that when she came, her documentation and everything was ready. She was so amazed. She did a live video call with her 2 sisters and told them that, look, this is my key to the house behind me. So we're selling that trust to the customers and the people we're talking to today. Lakeside have built that track record, and we do not play on that integrity in making sure that your homes are well secured. So if you're looking to move to Ghana, if you're looking to own homes in Ghana, look no further. Lakeside Estate, located in the heart of Adenta Municipality, Accra, Ghana. And we will make sure that you have your vacation home, or you have your home home.
Indeed. Thank you very much. Trust, track record, integrity, and looking no further for your home in Ghana. Mr. Dan, your final submissions as well.
I like the trust. So before I go into it, Lauren, just permit me to say that we also work with agents, especially the diaspora, because for us, just like Lakeside, we also have what we call the mortgage specialists, who are in charge of sales and assessing people in Ghana. So we are open to a lot more agents abroad, and preferably if it's a registered company, it works for us, because it's difficult dealing with just individuals. I'm sure after this you will put your documents together and you can easily sign in.
You will come to me.
Well, we'll see. We'll come to each other. So I would just want to end by saying that a trusted brand when it comes to mortgage financing, and I'm very happy one of the audience online asks whether HFC is now Republic Bank. It's because of what we've done in the past, so they just want to be sure that it's the same company. Right. Yes, it is one and the same company. Two, the due diligence that we do is very intense and very involving. The ultimate aim is to ensure that you are not just buying the asset for buying sake, but you also understand the ownership and the various documents that come with owning that home, so that tomorrow you will not come from abroad to come and meet a house that technically does not belong to you. So we do that on your behalf here. We are also open to all Ghanaians living anywhere in any part of the world.
Amazing.
So locally and abroad, we are open to have that discussion with you and get you something in Ghana. Our turnaround time is quick. Like I said, within 5 minutes, we can pre-qualify you. Once you submit all your documentation, you should get your offer letter within 4 to 5 working days. That's how fast we operate. Now, Isaac mentioned something about a customer who did not even come to inspect the property. Now, for the purposes of documentation and inspection, we also have the option of an attorney. So you can fill out our power of attorney form and appoint someone to
operate
do that on your behalf. So it's not it's not an issue if you cannot come to Ghana to come and inspect. Somebody can be your eye in Ghana and inspect the property for you, just so you are comfortable. And the last thing I want to bring to the fore is the flexibility that we offer. Just come to us. Low interest rate, flexibility, longer tenor. Enjoy your home in peace.
Enjoy your home in peace. Thank you very much. So you had flexibility, the history and longevity of HFC and transitioning into Republic Bank, the due diligence that you do on your not only your buyers but also on the seller as well. It's quick turnaround, pre-qualification, open to all Ghanaians globally as well, and the flexibility. So we appreciate that, and with the trust and the reputation there, we know that buying properties off plan, as well as buying properties through mortgages as well, the various understandings. We learned truly about understanding first and foremost, and really truly understanding as well if you can afford the way to purchase in the various ways you can do that through payment plans or whether age, the requirement. There will be further sessions remaining throughout the rest of the year as well. And if you haven't followed any of